This afternoon, lawmakers and the Guam Resource Recovery Partners rolled up their sleeves and sat down in the legislature's public hearing room to discuss ways to finance the cost of the new Dandan Landfill. And while concerns and questions were raised inside, outside, the Guam Economic Development Authority revealed to the media there may be another way to pay for the consent decree costs. Administrator Tony Blas says the Internal Revenue Code allows the government of Guam to issue a private activity bond for certain projects a year, which includes roughly $50 million for solid waste activity. He adds since the bond hasn't been touched for the last 3 years, a little over $150 million is available for GovGuam to use. He also says that paperwork now is sitting on the governor's desk.
With even the ongoing consent decree issue, because we need to comply with that, we feel a need to for continued allocations in this category for the solid waste disposal facilities, and provide an option. We're going to request the legislature to make this happen, and for any interested parties for any potential financing through the private activity bonds for the solid waste system.
And while it is a form of a public-private partnership, what exactly is a private activity bond? Blas's special assistant Lester Carlson explains.
A private activity bond is essentially a private entity going and securing financing that has a benefit for the public good. A typical example of this, and one that GITA has for many, many years in the carry forward agreement planned for, considering the ORDOT situation, is in fact a landfill. A private company conceivably could use the carry forward agreement and issue tax-exempt bonds with the assistance of the government of Guam. So they're essentially assisting the government of Guam in a public benefit, utilizing the private entity's credit going forward.
Carlson says what all this means is that GovGuam has a better chance at getting a bond by using a private company's bond rating. He also reveals that GovGuam officials knew about this option for years. But if that is true, why did they wait until all these landfill problems started building up?
There has been always a cognizant awareness. It's just one of these situations where we have known of the situation. There have been avenues. It's just we've never had a private firm that has stepped forward to request legislation to authorize the issuance of private activity bonds prior to this date.
Blas and Carlson both stress legislation needs to happen to allow this bond option to work. From there, a request for proposal can be issued so it can be competitively bidded out to all interested private entities.